Hey everyone, my name is Corv and welcome back to my channel. Um, I know it's a little different seeing me with the camera, but I just thought that it might make things more interesting on the screen instead of just having gameplay. If I also have my camera while I'm talking to you guys, make it a little more interactive. So this video that I'm filming now is going to be the first one of maybe a series of different videos pertaining to what I love about each class. So I love Lost Ark, as you guys know, and I happen to be a huge altaholic. So I have 11 characters, 6 are in T3 right now, and 5 are in T2. So I play a lot of alts, and I love all the classes that I play. And a lot of people in the community are like super hardcore. Like, I'm a main this class, and I don't like any other classes. I don't want to play anything else. I'm gonna make 6 blades, and they're all gonna be super geared, or I'm gonna make 6 gunslinger. I'm not like that. Um, One of the main reasons I love this game so much is because it feels like it's so easy to play these other classes, and they all feel so different and unique from each other. So I just wanted to make a video for each class that I play, kind of highlighting what I love about that class. Um, because I think there are so many redeeming qualities to these classes that make them fun and enjoyable to play, whether you want to main them or whether you want to have them as alts. So this one is going to be about Bard, which is currently my main. I'm sitting at 1400 right now. Um, 333 engravings, pretty decent stats. I'm not like perfect. I don't have the best stone either, but I'm not gonna spend, 5 to 10,000 gold to make sure I have like the very very best. So yeah, now I just want to kind of jump right into why I love Bard. So the first thing I want to talk about is playing support in general. I'm not a support main um, in other games that I play. Now I'm a healer in MMORPGs like WoW and Final Fantasy, so that's kind of why I am playing healer slash support in Lost Ark. However, in League, which I've played for 8 years, I never played support. So, in my opinion, support is very different than, or support in Lost Ark is very different than support in League of Legends. But getting back to what I was saying and off my tangent, um, supports feel super impactful in Lost Ark. Um, I constantly feel like everything I'm doing is helping the group. Whether I'm shielding or I'm healing or I'm giving damage buffs, or I'm putting a debuff on the enemy to make them take more damage from my allies. Everything I'm doing, it feels good and it feels like I'm making a difference. Now, in League of Legends, just to compare it to that, I didn't really feel like supports made much of a difference. Um, their abilities were always really helpful, and the supporting that they gave was good. But when it came down to it, the supports are kind of not as important as other members of the team or had as much carry potential per se. But in Lost Ark, it doesn't feel like that. Supports are basically mandatory in higher level content because 3 DPS and 1 support will overall have a combined more damage than 4 DPS if everyone is geared exactly the same, just based off of how the support's buffing works. So that's one of the reasons why I love playing support, because I do feel needed and helpful at the same time. And it feels great to constantly feel like I'm helping my team, and I love that. So, the next thing I want to talk about is playing Bard with the main identity gauge being our bubble system. We have to choose between our damage buff for our allies and the healing circle. And that adds a lot of nuance to the gameplay because you constantly get to fill your gauge and evaluate the situation that's going on in the fight and decide what you need to be doing at that moment. Did my teammates take too much damage? I need to heal them. Are they great and need to give them some damage boost? And you can choose the degree of the strength that you want based on how many gauges you fill on your bubble meter. So it adds a lot of nuance to the gameplay, and I really appreciate that. Um, so I think that having an interactive class like that kind of keeps you on your toes and lets you evaluate what's going on around you makes it really fun. You're not just tunneling the boss, which is the next point I wanted to talk about. When you're a DPS player, you're constantly focusing on the boss and trying to get back attacks and all that stuff. But because of the fact that I have to place my heal down under my allies, I need to be looking in like the area where they are so I can place my heal properly. So instead of tunneling the boss, I'm instead having to look at the area around me and where my allies are in that space and plan accordingly. And that kind of brings a new perspective to playing the game because I know when I'm on my DPS alts, I'm just tunneling the boss, tunneling the boss. I do not notice anybody else essentially. Like I'm not keeping track of where anybody else is because what they're doing, of course it matters, but to your gameplay, you're responsible for what you're doing. So their whereabouts in the space are not necessarily important. But on Bard they are, because if you want to make sure you're healing them, you need to make sure they're standing in your heal and you need to put it under them. Now, in my experience, I always ping before I'm about to heal, but I've noticed that it's just easiest to put the heal under the boss because DPS are not usually paying attention. So that's one of the downsides. People walk out of your heal, but it happens. But yeah, so the aspect of having a new perspective when approaching content, I think, is another one of my favorite parts about playing a bard. And yeah, I just think another little thing, if you love getting MVP and feeling good about yourself, it's super easy to get MVP as a bard at the end of a chaos dungeon or at the end of a guardian raid, because as long as you're healing and people aren't overusing their potions and stuff like that, it's so easy. Which maybe DPS players don't like, but the supports deserve some recognition. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of just a quick little summary of the things I love about Bard and why maybe you should try out Bard if you haven't tried out Bard already. Let me know what you guys think about this setup with me talking in the camera. If you'd rather just, not see me and have it be a little bit more organized like my previous videos, that's totally okay too. But yeah, let me know if you have any opinions as to what class you would like me to do next. I don't have every class, but I do have 11, so I do have a fair amount. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're enjoying my content so far. I am definitely new to all this YouTube stuff, but the Lost Ark community has really motivated me to share my opinions and make this channel. So thanks again for all the support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.